Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my homeschool goals for 2024 to 2025. And so if you enjoy this type of content and other homeschool and lifestyle content, please remember to subscribe and let's get into it. Okay, first off, I just have to say that this shirt is a new color for me. I had gotten it from Amazon. It's actually quite comfortable. Like, the material is really good, but they all come in kind of crazy combinations. And so this was the least crazy, at least for me. So I walk out of my bedroom today. I didn't get ready till almost lunchtime because we had all these other things going on this morning. And so I come out of my bedroom and my daughter that's 11 happened to be walking up the stairs at the same time I came out, and she just starts laughing at me. And I'm like, what's the matter? And she's like, your shirt is really funny looking. I'm like, what's funny about it? She's like, the colors, they're just funny. And so then a few minutes later, I come down the stairs and she comes back out of somewhere she had been. And she just starts laughing at me again because my shirt is funny. So if you think my shirt is funny, then so does my daughter. So you're not alone in your thoughts. And I'm still on, it's a new color for me. It's like a little bit bold for me, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. If you like this shirt, I'll try to remember just to link the shirts below because there are some other color combos. Maybe you like those better. I just really like the long, sleeves to, I don't like long sleeves, but to my elbow, those are really nice. But anyway, we're gonna actually talk about goals right now and not my clothing goals, which are apparently severely lacking. All right, so I just went through the other day and wrote down a few goals for the whole year. I'll actually try to reevaluate these things every single quarter and then talk about them more specifically in my quarterly updates. But this is just to give me an overall idea. And as I've thought about starting to prep stuff for homeschool, because we still have a few weeks till we start full-blown school, there's a few things that keep popping in my head that I want to focus on. They've kind of popped into my head all summer as oh, we need to plan something for this, or I'd like to spend more time on this. So as we go through, that's where some of these ideas have come from. And so looking at this quarterly will help me see if we're actually achieving it in the way that I would like to or not, if I need to reevaluate, if it's just too hard to do it right now or whatever. So that's kind of where all of the goal inspiration is coming from. So the first thing is to check my kids' notebooks and be more consistent about checking their schoolwork. So their notebooks, if you watched my most recent vlog, it would have gone up right before this video, that I sort of prepped them in there. I still have a few more things to put in them, but basically it has what they need to accomplish most days. Not every subject is done every single day, but most days. And so then I need to make sure they actually did it, because sometimes I have all these things in my head that we need to be doing, but then when it comes time to do it, since I have 6 kids, I'm navigating the little kids that are 2 and 1, and then I have all my big kids, and I'm just I can't keep everything straight. And so we'll get to the afternoon or the next day, and I'm like, dang it, we were supposed to do that yesterday and stuff. And so I created a checklist to help with that, and then maybe some sort of flow, just so if I have kids working on math that need help, then I don't also have other kids that are working on math or language arts that also need help. Maybe they could do something that's a little bit more independent. So just trying to keep all that stuff organized so everything flows as well as it can. It's really hard with little kids to keep it, consistent or predictable, but we try our best. And also just to check their work. I'm fairly good about checking their math every single day. And usually I will have them correct it that day. I don't always get it corrected right after they're done with it, because usually I'm helping somebody else. But if I can get it corrected around lunchtime or before lunchtime, if they're done with it, then I can have them work on it a little bit in the afternoon, and then they'll know what they did wrong for the next day, or what they need to work on, if they have questions, things like that. Language arts, I'm not as good at going through. That's the struggle. My 2 older kids especially, will go through and do all the things they're supposed to do, but usually there's a small, in the Good and the Beautiful's curriculum, a small parent section at the beginning. Sometimes it's just a reading, sometimes it's reviewing spelling words and things like that. And they're not always great at letting me know, and I'm not always great at remembering that I need to do that stuff with them. So just those kind of things, if I can get in a habit at least of looking at their notebooks at lunchtime, it will give me a checklist of, oh yeah, we did this, we did this, we did this, and it'll just be much easier. So that's one of my goals that I think will help with the flow and make sure we're actually doing everything we're supposed to be doing and understanding everything, at least as best as we can. My second goal is to get outside more, especially since we're heading into fall, and I just love fall. Okay, fall and spring are like my favorite times of year because I just love the more like 60-degree weather most of the time. You know, obviously I love a good snowy day, but we usually get 4 or 5 months of snow and just cold, brutal weather, and I don't love that. And then we get hotter summers, which is fun if you're doing water activities, but otherwise, or thunderstorms. I love the thunderstorms and the rain, not while I'm trying to sleep at night though. But I love those types of things. But otherwise, spring and summer are my jam. Spring and fall are my jam. I love fall so much. I think it's just such a like relief, and that like after the hot summer, and then seeing all the leaves change, and I just love the activities associated with fall. And so if you're new around here, I had ankle surgery about 13 weeks ago, 13 and a half weeks ago. And so I've been recovering, and I'm getting to a pretty good spot. Like there's still some mobility that's gonna take a while to come back through me just stretching and walking more and all that kind of stuff. But I want to since I wasn't able to move for such a long time, I was no weight bearing for a month and then still struggling to really move for almost another month, and then starting to move. And it's just been in the last few weeks that my movement has really picked up, and I've started taking more normal walks like I used to and everything like that, that I'm like, I want to move. We haven't been able to do much hiking, and I can't go like this, like straight up a hill, but I can go on a slight incline and stuff. So I'm like, I want to get out, enjoy the weather more. And I feel like that's just good for my kids, just to enjoy all that kind of stuff. And so maybe, you know, sit outside more, go to parks more. I'm not really sure, but I just love being outside. It's just so healing for my soul. But at the same time in my head, I'm like, we have all these things we need to get done and accomplish, that it's hard for me to be like, okay, we can just take a day and go do this stuff. So trying to be better about that. So to go along with that, I want to better utilize our Fridays. So we currently don't do a normal homeschool day on Friday. We do homeschool Monday through Thursday, like all the subjects. Friday is sometimes like a pickup day if there was too many things that happened during the week, the rest of the week, and we didn't get through all of our group work or whatever, to try to stay on schedule to finish everything in the quarter. It might flow into Friday. Otherwise, Friday I try to do like appointments. Not all of our appointments get pushed to Friday, but all my kids like child checkups I try to do Fridays. I go to the temple for my church on Fridays, just for like my individual worship. So I do that Friday mornings. It's usually just a 30, like it takes me an hour total usually to do that. But just kind of trying to utilize it. It becomes sort of this dead day because I'll kind of scatter appointments or things happen. By the time I get home from a few early morning things, everyone's already doing other things. And then it's like, oh, we could have done some game schooling, or we could have, like sometimes we'll make a treat or do something with cooking or baking that day, but also hiking and just getting outdoors. Fridays are a harder day for my husband to go with us on these activities because usually he's a university professor. Fridays is when they have seminars and like visitors that come and speak and stuff like that. And so he usually has more obligations those days than he does like a Monday or a Wednesday, and he teaches Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I can go hiking by myself, and our 2.5-year-old is getting much better. He hiked at Lava Hot Springs. If you've seen my Instagram post about it, I couldn't pack him. My husband normally packs him, but he packed our 1-year-old, and we went up a mountain. I did not make it very far. It was like straight up. And he hiked the whole time and seemed like he was totally fine to go more. Like, I'm sure he was exhausted, but he did a really good job. So I feel like he's getting to a point where he could walk if I packed the baby. She's still a baby, even though she just turned 1. She's still my baby. And so maybe that would work out and I could take the kids all hiking by myself. But it's fun and nice to have another adult. And so I usually like him coming, especially since my oldest is autistic. It kind of helps with that as well. So I need to figure out schedules and try to plan stuff in when he's more available that he could come with us on certain hikes, especially if they're harder hikes. So that's kind of my goal, but I want to better utilize those Fridays instead of it just becoming this, like sometimes I get things done around the house and sometimes it's just like, it's already noon and we haven't done anything all morning. And so having the more intentional schedules for that day, you know, every single week, I think will help with that. So the next few things I'm gonna mention are just kind of some goals of things I wanna add in somehow. I haven't exactly figured out the best way to do that. The first one is some sort of gym class. This kind of goes along with getting outside more, going on more hikes, you know, just that little bit more fitness, but something with homeschooling that you notice, at least I have noticed about my kids, is that they don't know how to do like normal fitness things. So along with this, I think a fitness test would be fun to try out. So like push-ups, jumping jacks, all those things. Sorry, I have hairs everywhere. And just simple things like that I learned in my elementary school gym, like PE class, but they also don't play a ton of sports or even sports that would do that. You know, like the city leagues don't usually have you come and warm up with jumping jacks. At least not like in basketball and stuff. So anyways, just things like that that they don't necessarily know as well or know how to do. And then we could reevaluate it. Maybe we do one at the beginning and see where they are, do it in the middle, and then maybe towards the end and see how they've improved over the year. You know, get outside some more, just making sure that we have kind of that gym time scheduled in. You could do some yoga, which we did a little bit last year, but again, we kind of fell apart and I would forget about it. So maybe I need to set an alarm. But I'm like a really good scheduler, but when I have to keep track of so many people's schedules in my head, I can't do it. Like I can keep track of some things, but too many things becomes too many things to keep track of. And so last year we did like Cosmic Kids Yoga. I think that's what it's called. It's on YouTube and my kids really loved that. I would just take it downstairs and they would do that yoga. And so just different things like that, even stretching, like when I stretch, my toddler will sit down and stretch with me. So good stretches, just good like physical fitness things that help them understand how to take care of their bodies in that way. And to go along with that one, emphasis on healthy eating. I am hesitant to say healthy eating, because all food is not bad. And I feel like that's a hard mentality for all of us to get away from, but the way we choose to consume it can be harmful. You know, if it's like too much of one thing or too much of another thing. And so just focusing on even just portion sizes or what a good amount, like I can't think of the right word, like I got it, a well-balanced plate looks like. I hope you enjoyed all that. Like my mind's like, what the heck are you talking about? So like a well-balanced plate of food looks like, those kind of things, because I'm all about balance. I know there's diets out there that come and go, but I think consistently over time, the best thing is always to just have balance in what you're eating. And so trying to help them understand that, whether that comes through doing a little bit more like cooking together, have them help with food prep, or maybe they're in charge of like the vegetable for a dinner or something, so they can be more excited about eating it. You know, things like that. I'm not, again, really sure exactly how I'm going to put all of these into our school, but somehow. So if you have worked on any of these things and things have worked out well for you, let me know. Or even if they haven't worked out, because maybe they'll work for other people, or maybe we'll just not try that one and we'll try something else. So just give me your different insights below, but that's another focus. The next thing I want to focus on is a little bit more public speaking. And I don't even feel like this is going to be like a huge, like stand up in front of 100 people sort of situation. It's more just even presenting in front of each other. And so maybe this will look like we do geography and we do science. So picking something from one of those topics and studying it a little bit more and just preparing a presentation. And it's not even gonna be super long. Maybe they draw a picture for it, maybe, you know, have some sort of like visual object to share and to talk about, and just for a few minutes, and then get up and present it and try to make it coherent. Maybe we would record it. I'm not really sure, you know, how intense we want to be, especially at the beginning, maybe later on as they get older, but just so they can see if they're using filler words, all these different things, you know, if they're not being clear, if they're not saying things slowly enough, and everyone's like critiquing me. I'm like, I know, I speak really breathy, I talk really fast, I probably have filler words, I make little clicking noises, like I know. Okay, I review all my videos all the time, and I know I have things everybody does. And sometimes it's really hard to get rid of those things, but just helping them be a little bit more comfortable and learning how to say things clearly, like thoughts that they have clearly and also concisely without repeating themselves in different ways. Because I see a lot of people do that, where it's like, this is my thought, and to make sure your paper's longer, you say the same thing, but in a different way. You know, in the same, when we get up and talk in front of people, we do the same things and just keep saying it in different ways. And they're like, okay, we got it. And so making sure we get the point across, it's concise, it's clear, everyone can understand it. And then maybe have people ask questions and stuff and see if they can answer them. You know, have my kids come with a few questions. I'm not really sure what it'll all look like, but those are a few of my thoughts about it. The last thing I wanted to mention is mom time, which if you have been around for a few years, you've probably heard about this. This was something, I'm trying to remember if I did this after, so my 5th baby was a surprise. So there's 5 years between him and my 4th child. And I can't remember if I was actually doing this before or if it was something I did after him to try to make sure I spent time with my older kids. But I assigned all my older kids a day, so like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And in the afternoon, I would play like a game with them, or we could do a craft together or something. It was mostly like something that was 30 minutes or less. So it couldn't be something too crazy unless it was a project we could do week after week sort of thing. And so we did that for a little while. And then I think everything just got crazy, or I had so much stuff to do that it was kind of difficult for me, or our school would flow into the afternoon. And so I was still helping kids with that. So I'm trying to decide how to make it work, if like the 1 o'clock time is the best time, or my kids usually will have some screen time in the afternoon. So I don't know if I should bump up the screen time to 1 o'clock. They just start a little earlier and then end earlier. And so when they end, since my littles nap during that time, then when my littles are awake, I could still play games and have my other kids watching them. So I can still get some of the work done I need to while the little kids are sleeping, but also have time with them. I'm not really sure, but I'm not good at spending individual time or even really wanting to be honest. And so I'm trying to be good or better about doing it now that I'm not pregnant. Where like my youngest is 1, you know, I still have 2 littles that are difficult, but we're starting to move out of that super teeny kid age. So trying to figure out something and make it work. So that's kind of my thought. All right, so those are my homeschool goals for this upcoming school year. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below and let me know what are some of the goals that you have or the things you're most excited about doing this upcoming homeschool year. Remember to give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.